Well, hello there. This is the sales post for what I'm labeling is as official number 1 in the series. This is the second chassis that I built of this design, but the first chassis I built I labeled as a prototype, so this is official number 1 of the series. Alright, this is everything that you're going to be getting in the sales post. We have the main chassis, the main hilt, we have a 6-inch display blade, we have 2 style blade plugs, the Graflex style blade plug and an arc reactor style blade plug. And then we have a couple clamp cards. We have the Force Awakens clamp card and glass eye on the hilt right now. But then we have a Empire Strikes Back clamp and red button, as well as a A New Hope clamp card and glass eye. We have a rice cable with an adapter cord, which I'll point out how to use later in the video, as well as the main charger and the charger adapter cord for the port that we have on this chassis. Okay, so first I'm going to go over the chassis features. So I'm going to just slide all these accessories back a little bit and make some room. And here we have the chassis. The chassis comes in 2 parts. It will be assembled when you get it, but it separates into 2 parts. We have the main power core unit, and then we have the main focus blade emitter unit. Alright, the 2 assemble mainly by making sure that the pins are lining up. Alright, and we have the main Kyber crystal very close, almost touching the focus crystal. Alright, now before we power it up, I'm just going to point out some features on this. So first, for the chassis, this bottom section are the only plastic parts, and from here up is all metal. So it's a half metal, half plastic chassis. Obviously all the parts around the Kyber crystal and everything is all metal, so we have really nice details and it looks really great around the Kyber crystal. We have the cover plates that come off that are magnetic. For the 2 main computer boards, we have the color extender board for good color mixing, and then we have the Crystal Focus 9 board from Plector Labs. The main power on switch, the main charge port, which the adapter plug plugs into, and then the charger unit plugs into the adapter cord. And then on the side with the color mixer board, we have the rice port that I've added on here. Now this rice port, pulls out with a pair of pliers pretty easily, and then we have this rice port. And then we have the adapter cord that I've made for the port, which simply plugs in. Get in there. There we go. And then the adapter plugs into the main rice port. I have done most of the programming with the rice software on the computer, so I know that it all has linked up and it definitely works. I definitely recommend checking out the manual on the Crystal Focus to see all the different features and adjustment that can be made via the rice editing. The rice editing makes for live editing, so what you don't have to do is always remove the SD card. Under the main Crystal Focus board, right next to the power on indicator light, there's the SD card. As long as you know where it is, it's very easy to pop out, remove, and plug that into your computer and make all the changes that you want via that SD card. And pretty easily it slides back into place. As long as you know where it is, it's not too bad of a setup. But I definitely recommend trying to do the rice editing. You'll have to download a program on the computer, and that program can be found on either Plector Labs website or the Custom Saber Shop website, where they have a link to it. Yep, there's a lot of changes that can be made to the Crystal Focus board when it comes to sound fonts, color changes, and there's so many features. It's really mind-blowing. So feel free to check those out. Alright, we'll put back the magnetic covers. And that's the full chassis again. Now, for some of the accessories, like I've mentioned, for the hilt, we have the different clamp guards. But for the blade plugs, I like the arc reactor blade plug. And then when you have the whole thing assembled, you can still slide in the Graflex blade plug. And they're both short enough that they stack on top of each other, which is a cool feature because you can remove the Graflex blade plug and see the arc reactor under it. But both can fully be removed. And as I power it on, I'm going to put on the 6-inch display blade so we can see all the different color mixing and how the blade lights up. But that's mainly all the features on the chassis itself. So power it on with the power switch. Immediately on boot up, the 2 power core lights light up, the orange candle flicker lights. And then once it is booted up, the power indicator light comes on, the yellow one there, as well as the Kyber crystal will glow going in and out. On boot up, we have the power regulator sequence going in that pattern. And as you can see, no focus crystal on, no blade on. And now we'll power on the blade. Focus crystal comes on really nice and bright. We have the blade itself is really nice and bright, and if the detail is catching it, we have the lower section of the Kyber crystal rotates with a little motor in there. Alright, it has really good detection and movement. Great on that crystal focus board, crystal focus 9 board. And our power sequence over here goes into a different rhythm now with the lightsaber on. We have the clash effects, really nice. The blaster effects on the auxiliary switch. And then we have blade lockup when we hold the auxiliary switch. Now, as you can see, the Kyber crystal turns white with a bunch of rainbow colors. And the blade kind of goes crazy. So I really like the features on all that for what we have, how it's programmed. Yeah, and a little shine through where the glass eye would be. Alright, press and hold the activation button for just that second, and it powers off the lightsaber. Okay, so that's all the different features of when the lightsaber's lit up and activated. Since we have the power on, I'll point out the sound fonts real quick. On the auxiliary button, you're going to do a double press and hold. So press and hold. Beep, press and hold. And we're in the sound fonts. So the first one is Nightfall. That's what all the main default programming is on, and we can cycle through. Audio player is a really cool one. We'll select that real quick.
Crystal focus. Audio player.
Alright. Alright, back to Nightfall, the main one that I programmed. So once we're there, we'll press and hold again. And it confirms we're in Nightfall. And as you heard, it does the same boot up sound. And we're back to the same sequence on everything. Alright, so that's all the real main features with the lightsaber of the charge ports, how to do everything when it comes to charging, how to plug in the RICE, or how to remove the SD card if you're not going to be using the RICE programming. Yep, so now we're going to just remove the blade real quick so that we can assemble it into the hilt. I'm going to leave it on so we can power it on when we go into the hilt. I always like to line up either the glass eyes or the buttons. But once you get it halfway, you're mainly going to focus on this channel for the auxiliary switch. Once you get it about halfway, that channel is going to line up with the auxiliary switch. So I like to look down the barrel. Oh, I have the glass eye in there. Got to remove that before you slide in the chassis. So I like to look down the barrel and make sure that auxiliary switch is lining up in that channel for it. And once there's absolutely no resistance. If you're finding any resistance, you're not in the right channel. And once you get pretty close to where the brass pins are almost touching, there's just, it tightens up a little bit, and it's just really nice and snug and goes in there really, really smoothly till, it meets, and you can once install the glass eye again. Now, for anybody who's familiar with the chassis and the lightsaber, the top retention screw, I ordered the wrong sizes. They're too short for the blade retention screws that I like. So I will have those in my possession by the time I ship out this lightsaber to the lucky bidder. But for this video, I do not have that retention screw. But I want to be very open about why that's not here right now for the video. Now we can slide on the clamp. And then we can slide on the bottom half of the hilt. And boom, there we go. The lightsaber is all assembled. I like to just line up the clamp and the grips, how it all, looks in the movies. And the clamp itself free rotates, so usually it takes 3 or 4 spins to make sure it's really nice and tight, and you can feel when it gets to that point, and you lock it down. And once it's there, it's really nice and firm. There's absolutely no movement. It's really solid, really nice solid hilt. The hilt by Roman Props. Absolutely great design, great quality, really solid hilt. Love his hilt. We'll put in the display blade again real quick. Show that you activate the lightsaber with the red button. Again. Ooh, great movement. And great flash on clash effect. Looks great. Alright, with the auxiliary button, really good spring action in it. I'll press and hold to deactivate the lightsaber and just show the spring action in the switch. Really nice spring action. And that's the hilt that's the hilt. Like I said, we have the extra clamp card accessories, the bubble and the Empire Strikes Back, as well as the different glass size, the Force Awakens beveled and the red button, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back. We all know. Okay, so I will show real quick 3 or 4 twists to lighten the clamp. The bottom half twists really easily. Give it a little more there. Yeah, there it goes. Sometimes that will slide out. And we're gonna, lightsaber still on, and we're gonna power it off with the switch. Alright, so that's all the features and everything that's coming with this lightsaber. The sales post will be on eBay. A link down below. I plan on doing a 10-day sales post, which should end right around the first couple days in December, and it should ship out within the first week of December. So anybody interested, it should definitely be there by Christmas. I do 2-day shipping. I insure the cost of the price that you've paid. All that is included in the cost in the bid of the lightsaber. Down in the description, you will see a price breakdown of all the parts that it took to build this saber. All those parts added up is what the starting bid of the saber will be. So whatever price you end up bidding is essentially the labor cost that it took for me to build it. So, that's to each their own, what everybody feels when they place their bid. In that sales bid on eBay, you will see some very close detailed pictures of the chassis and the crystal chamber. As this video I know is not the most detailed, and you get much better pictures with the eBay pic. Again, my name is Kyber Sharp Lightsaber. You can find me on Facebook. I build only these chassis for the Anakin lightsaber, and I just really enjoy the chassis. And follow me on Facebook for my future builds, or you can always find my sales video here on YouTube. Alright, thank you very much for watching.